Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. Well, here's an interesting video. Our favorite Congress member that married her half-brother, llhan Omar, breaks down in a fit of rage aimed at Biden Democrat leadership over support for Israel. What's wrong with you? She is outraged, absolutely outraged. You know what? You've been supporting terrorists for years as an elected member of Congress. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. And all of a sudden now that the tide is turning and Hamas screwed the pooch for what they did to Israel, killing those over 1,000 people and taking 200 plus hostages, some Americans, and she's mad. Well, you know what? Congress member Omar, kiss my. Let's watch some of this outrage.
Stuck in Gaza. What is wrong with you? How is this possible? Wait, so is certain Americans' life important than another? Is the American that is living in Gaza less important than the one living in Israel?
See what she wants? She wants the U.S. to tell Israel, stop bombing key spots in Gaza they consider strongholds of Hamas because there are Americans there. What she really wants is she wants the bombing to stop. What she really wants is she wants Hamas to survive or some version of it in the future. That's what she truly wants. She could give a good damn about the Americans in South Gaza. She could care less. What she does care about is anybody or any organization or anything that's goal is to wipe Israel off the face of the earth to stay intact. What a hypocrite.
How is it that you're telling American citizens to go to the south of Gaza, but you can't tell Netanyahu not to bomb the south because there are Americans there? How is it that you are not condemning that Israel has bombed the crossing where humanitarian aid is supposed to get through Egypt, where we are asking our citizens to have safe passage?
You notice how she phrased that? Asking our citizens. She's not talking about Americans. When she says our citizens, she's talking about Palestinians. This is a woman that was a refugee as a child, was brought to this country, got a first-class education for free, went to college, got another supposedly first-class education for free, was giving everything this country has to offer. And what does she do in return? She hates this country's guts. The oath she took when she became a Congress member to uphold the Constitution was a lie. Was a lie. I know that oath because I took it myself in upstate New York when I was a councilman in the early 2000s. It's the same oath. And she went against it from minute one. I think this whole constitutional thing is a joke. She's worried about Hamas being cut out like a cancer. Now, let me ask you this question, Congressmember Omar. At the end of World War II, when Berlin and other major cities were being bombed in industrial centers, many, many casualties of civilians, including children. It's heartbreaking, but it's war. But it's war. Do you see anybody screaming and hollering that's a Congress member in 1945 to stop bombing Germany because it's killing civilians? No. Hamas did what they did. Murdered people, murdered children in front of their parents. Just murder in general, anybody they could get a hold of. Oh, took over 200 hostages. They were probably surprised they had that many. Killing infants. Can't go into detail because this website won't allow it. Killing infants. And you have been their spokesperson for years and years and years. and they went too far. And you're caught in the middle of it, supporting these people and condemning them at the same time. That's the progressive brain. Two views on the exact same issue. That's why these people are nuts. Let's listen on.
How? How is it that you continue to give lip service and hope for a negotiated humanitarian access when it's not happening? What is going on? How are we living this way? I want to say how insane and painful and scary it is to work and serve in a space where we have a member in our caucus say all Muslims are responsible for this, and not a single condemnation comes from our caucus leadership or any member of Congress.
That's not true. That didn't happen. There are no congressmen that's saying that all Muslims are responsible. That's a lie. It's not even an exaggeration of the truth. It's an outright lie. They've finally been caught. They finally went too far. And the world said, enough. The Israelis said, enough. We are not being victims anymore. Historically, Jews, especially in pre- and post-World War II and during World War II, were slaughtered by the millions. By the millions. And I'm wondering, the people, the Muslim world at the time, I'm not an expert on World War II and Middle East, I'm wondering what they thought as the Jews were being exterminated. There's no one in Congress that said all Muslims are responsible for this. That's a lie. Now, the Palestinian people in Gaza are responsible for electing these monsters? Yeah. And unfortunately, just like in World War II, there's going to be civilian casualties. It's the horrors of war. As Robert E. Lee said, it's good that war is so horrible that we may grow too fond of it. Let's listen on.
How is it? How is it that we are serving in a body? Serving in a body where there are members who condemn us for asking for peace, for ceasefire.
You're asking for a ceasefire because Hamas is being wiped out. And that's what you really don't want. One of the major enemies, an individual organization that hates Israel and the Israeli people more than anybody. She's outraged. How about being outraged the fact that you married your half-brother so he gets citizenship in the United States and get here? This is unbelievable. You know what? Just kiss my... How is it we have a president who was talking about releasing hostages, who's talking about getting American citizens out of Israel, but could not himself to say, I want to save and work to save hundreds, thousands of Americans stuck in Gaza. I don't believe there are thousands of Americans stuck in Gaza, but what is wrong with you? Omar said after claiming Israel had dropped more bombs in Gaza in the last 10 days than the U.S. did in the entire year in Afghanistan. Yeah, maybe the last year when they were there, when President Trump was president, and he made a deal with some of the terrorists there. You touch or kill an American, we will bomb you into the Stone Age. And so they didn't. Is the American that is living in Gaza less important than the one in Israel? No, she's not talking about Americans. See, that's the lie. That's the lie. I, as a Congress member, am looking out for American citizens. That's the lie. She's worried about Gaza. She's worried about Hamas. She's worried about an infrastructure that was built with one purpose and one purpose only, to destroy the state of Israel. She claimed it was painful and scary to work alongside other Democrats said we're blaming all Muslims for the violence. That's a lie. It was unclear who she was referencing, but Progressive Representative Richie Torres may have taken aim at members of the squad last week over what he called reprehensible and repulsive response to the October 6th attack. Not a single combination comes from our caucus leadership or any member of Congress. It'd be like saying our leadership is against the bombing of Berlin at the end of World War II. It's horrifying because war is horrifying. It's amazing to me. It's demos asking for peace, for a ceasefire. You want a ceasefire because that organization, Hamas, and others like it are losing. Fox News reached out to the White House and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries for comment. Prior to her appearance at the press conference, Omar was pressed by Fox Business reporter Hillary Vaughn over her support for a ceasefire against terrorists who aim is to wipe out the existence of Jews. Yeah, that's a damn good question. Omar ignored the question. Gee, what a shocker. Saying, ignore this crazy lady, don't worry about her, as she boarded an elevator. They made crystal clear, Hamas and many other organizations over the years, our number one goal, the reason for our existence, is to destroy the state of Israel. Omar was forced to walk back comments blaming Israel for the Gaza hospital explosion. That U.S. intelligence determined was not from a projectile launched by the Israeli Defense Forces. However, she failed to offer an apology. Gee, what a shocker. What a shocker. Look at these three. I never thought I'd see the day that not just one or two congressional members, but several dozen, I might add, on the Democrat side, openly and actively hate the country that they represent. I've never seen anything like it. It's insane. So save your outrage. Hamas went too far, and Israelis said that's enough. Yes, innocent people are going to be killed. And yes, some of them are going to be children. And it's horrible, but it's brought on by you directly and many others like you. It's incredible to me, this outrage she has. You're outraged because the jig is up for you and many of the progressives like you that hate this country and say so on every given moment from the floor of the House of Representatives. Amazing to me. So save your crap. No one's listening anymore. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.